I'm Misty, RN Health and Wellness Coach, and I'm a faith-based RN Wellness Coach. And I just wanted to come to you today and talk to you about preparing for our 30-ish minute meals that we're going to do in this series. I want it to be easier for you. I want it to be easier for your family, and you'll have time to enjoy life a little bit. So the word for today is prepare. And the scripture that I want to share with you comes out of John 14. And Jesus is talking to the disciples about preparing a place for them someday. And it's so encouraging and it's so wonderful because we need that spiritual wellness in addition to that physical wellness, don't we? And when we have these types of devotions, it just gives us that internal strength that we need to get through each day. So listen to the prepare in these verses. John 14, 1 through 4. Actually, I'll read through 7. How about that? Jesus says, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I not have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, and I will take you to myself, and where I am, you may be also. And you know the way to where I am going." Thomas said to him, "Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" Jesus said to him, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do know him and have seen him." So he's preparing. He's preparing our hearts for an eternity with him and the Father in a place that is beyond our imagination. And I go to church with an older church group, and they are physically, spiritually healthy and wonderful and spry and ready to go. Physically, they're just strokes, their cancer, their heart attacks, their fatty liver, they're all the things that Americans are falling victim to because of the way our culture eats and the way our culture teaches us that is okay to eat. And Christians fall under that too because we're deceived. We're deceived by the things that are in the food that are causing our bodies harm. And I want to relieve that. I want to get you away from that because we can enjoy food and we can enjoy life and still enjoy God's garden because that's where the health starts and that's where we can finish strong and we can take these bodies to do the spiritual work that God calls us to do. So today, prepare in this kitchen is going to involve preparation for a healthy way for my family to eat for the rest of the week. And so I have some thawed out pumpkin that I'm going to do some what I call Whopper protein muffins. And this is my 6 container huge muffin pan. I'm going to do some preparation with some quinoa because quinoa is one of my staples. It is a complete protein. It has loads of vitamin E. It has wonderful selenium and magnesium and potassium and all the minerals that we need to function each day. The vitamin E in quinoa is so good that it helps with your blood vessels and your heart, your blood vessels, your immune system, you name it. Vitamin E has a role, right? And then I have some flour with 3 cups of multigrain flour with a little bit of flaxseed and salt and onion powder to make tortillas because that's going to be on the menu this week. So that's ready to go. When you do your unbleached organic flour, I have that in another video. You can watch that if you want to learn how to do that. You don't need to autolyze, which is just let it sit for an hour so that it soaks up the bran and the germ. When you buy whole wheat bread in the store, you're not getting whole grain. This is fresh milled whole grain that has all of the bran and all of the germ. If they did that in the grocery store, it would go rancid in 5 days and you wouldn't be able to eat it. So that's the difference. When it says whole grain, all they've done is put the bran in. They had to take the germ out because the germ is where all the nutrients are. Not all the nutrients, but most of the nutrients. That's where your vitamins and your minerals are stored, and that is what oils, the omega-3s and the omega-6s, the tiny bit that's in the germ is going to go rancid. So what I do is I will have a day that I will grind probably 5 or 6 pounds of whole grains, and then I'll just store them in the freezer for when I want to do my breads and my tortilla shells. So over here on the stove, I brought the quinoa. I brought 2 cups of water to a boil, and then I took a cup of quinoa and a teaspoon of salt, and I put it in the pot for 5 minutes. It was boiling on high for 5 minutes, and then once that, and I set my timer because I don't want it to burn. As soon as that 5 minutes goes off, I turn the burner off, and then I have this beautiful fluffy quinoa. Look at that. It quadruples in size. Absolutely gorgeous. And it soaks up all of the water. So now I have that for anything I want this week. If I don't eat it all, if there's just 2 of us in our family, I can divide it in half and put half in the freezer. And once it cools completely, I'll put half in the freezer and half in the fridge, and I'll just put a quarter of a cup on my salads. Um, I'll put it in my tortillas. I'll put it in my chili. I'll put it in my vegetable soup. I'll put it in my butternut squash soup. I mean, like, there's just so many things you can do with it. You can do overnight quinoa instead of overnight oats and get a complete protein in your grain that way. It's high in carbs, so people that are watching their carbs are going to go easy on that. They're going to do maybe a quarter of a cup with, maybe 15, 16 blueberries, and then their quarter of a cup of their yogurt. And then you have that, and you have maybe a boiled egg for extra protein. So you're getting your protein in your grain, in your yogurt, and in your egg, if that's your breakfast choice. And then if you wanted to do a muffin with the egg, you see how you balance your protein. And that's what I'm finding in my church family and a lot of elderly people, is that even young people, it's not just elderly people. I just happen to go to church with some elderly people. But anyway, and in my 30 years of nursing, that's what I have seen. We consume way too much sugar in the morning and not enough protein. So what happens is we set our cycle for the day consuming way too much sugar. And so we'll gorge on sugar in the morning, and then we'll crave it all day long. Whereas if we have a good solid protein and a good solid fiber to start our day, then we are not craving things throughout the day. Make sense? Should make sense. So then I've got over here 2 pounds of ground beef, and we're going to be adding out some Mexican spices. Mexican spiced beef, I guess you could say. I mean, you can use that so many different ways. And then I want to show you something else that's going to happen here. I'm going to show you this. It's going to be fun. And, in the oven, we have butternut squash and what is the other one? Kusal. That's what it is. It's kusal. So what I'm going to do with that is make some butternut squash soup, some butternut squash sauce that I'll use on my tortillas, and with my Mexican beef that tastes amazing. You can do a chili, so that's for when you have acid reflux and you can't do tomatoes. So I substitute butternut squash for that. And then, what else? What else? Cushaw tarts. So I thought that would be fun. My mom makes this amazing transparent tarts, is what we call them here on the border of Ohio and Kentucky. I don't know what you call them around the world, but my mom has made these for years, and my sister put her precious handwriting recipe for her transparent tarts on this cutting board so that it would be a family keepsake that we would always have to remember my mom. And it's awesome. So she does has a recipe here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the cushaw. I'm going to puree the cushaw. I'm going to put milk, some butter, some eggs, and some vanilla in that. I don't know about the spice yet. I'm still thinking about this. Do kosher tarts. So I'll have to make a pie crust for that. So today is a baking day. Today is a preparation day so that my family can have the rest of the week to relax and do quick 30-ish minute meals. Okay? See how I make a plan? You can do this with your family too. As you can see, I'm doing it all by myself because my husband likes to take care of the yard and he likes to do those kind of things. All right. Not off subject, getting back to seasoning and doing our dressings and that kind of thing. I wanted to show you this ranch. This is a store-bought ranch dressing mix. So it's a dip mix. And so what I wanted to do was use my Yuka app to scan this and see, because I picked these up for church, making something quick for church for the church kids on Wednesday because they love ranch dressing. Everybody loves their ranch dressing, right? So I'm going to take my Yuka app. This is what it looks like. I'm going to take my little scan button, which it's opened up, and I'm going to scan this. And it has a 7 out of 100. I'm going to say the bad word. Bad. Why is it a 7 out of 100? So I'm going to click on my additives. It's got 2 hazardous chemicals in it. So it says monosodium glutamate. It's a hazardous chemical because consumption of glutamate may cause a variety of symptoms, including nausea, migraine, skin flushing, hot flashes. Moreover, glutamate may cause a variety of symptoms, may contribute to weight gain, obesity, and diabetes risk. Finally, glutamate is believed to play a role in the development of neurodegenerative and autoimmune disorders. How much do you think MSG is used in our processed foods today and in restaurants that we frequent on a weekly basis? So there's a lot of advantage to making our 30-minute meals. Carrageenan is in that. I'm not sure if that's how you say that. So carrageenan is extracted from red seaweed, and they're used as gelling and thickening agents. And under certain conditions, they can break down into compounds classified as carcinogenic to humans. And that comes from the National Institute of Health. In March 2024, found that carrageenans increase the risk of cancer. So this is what's in our ranch dressing and a lot of the ranch dressings that are on the shelf. So preparing our family for healthier eating involves knowing what's in the food that we're feeding them, right? So if we take a look at this and we say, okay, so maltodextrin is a sugar, salt, I can do that. I can do onion. And then the MSG is the next ingredient, and then garlic and parsley. And that's it. Those are it says spices, but it doesn't say what those spices are. So if you think about some ranch dressing mix, we've got salt, we've got onion powder, we've got garlic, and over here we have parsley. Imagine what parsley would taste like in this. So it's just playing with your recipe. So if you know your family's not real fond of garlic, you don't have to do a lot of garlic. You can do a minimal amount of garlic. I've got my little clipper here. Just play around with it. Always read your package, what you like in it, and leave out what you don't like. So I'm starting off with a tablespoon of onion powder. And I don't like a whole lot of powder, goes a long way. So let's just do a teaspoon of the garlic powder. There's that. I'm going to do half a teaspoon of salt. I don't think we need all that salt. Salt's what makes it good, right? And then I'm going to do a teaspoon of parsley. I don't know how to wipe out the spoon, so I don't put garlic in my parsley powder. All right, I could put a little pepper in there. I could put a little dill in there. Dill would make it good. Dill would make it quite tasty. Smells good. So then I have it. I have, this is at least, let's see, that's 15 ml. So for 1 ounce, I don't remember how much it was. You just did, that's 1 ounce at least, minimum. And you just add sour cream. Ta-da! No MSG, no hazardous chemicals, no carrageenan, none of that stuff. And it's stuff that you probably have in your cabinet that you can do easily. So prepare comes with a lot of a lot of um a lot of ways that we can prepare, right? We can prepare physically, we can prepare spiritually, and knowing that we are fighting these bodies, we're fighting the flesh, we're fighting those cravings all the time, helps us to understand that we can be a better steward of our bodies if we have that self-control. And when we're meeting our nutritional needs, that's a lot easier to do. It's easier to do for our families. It's easier to do for ourselves. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to get into it here. That's the gist of it. So I hope it was helpful to you. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you do. Do you read labels and make your own? Because that's the coolest thing ever, to be able to just do your own thing, especially when it comes to dressings that are very unhealthy, and when it comes to spice mixes. So when I do my Mexican today, I will just do a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of garlic. I'll cut up, I love paprika and oregano. Those are my go-tos. And then I'll chop up a fresh onion, and I'll do a fresh clove of garlic in that ground beef, and it's going to be amazing without MSG and without any of the stuff that's in this packages. And you can do that ahead of time too and keep it in little Ziploc bags. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope you come back and let me know what you like. Let me know what spices you like to make. Let me know how you like to prepare for the week.